of market structure. One structure has been completed, and from observation, whenever a structure is completed, price tends to pull back to a point of interest known as POI, and that is the point labeled C. And you can see COI there, POI there, which means point of interest. That is the point of the price pulls back to that level and then begins to continue another structure. So, point of interest is what you should know. How do you identify a point of interest in the market? If you do not know this, let me know in the comment section. I will also make a video on it. Now, there are several points of interest, several things we use as our point of interest. Number one is the order block. Number two is the breaker block. Number three is the fair value gap. Another one is the rejection block as our point of interest, depending on the nature of the market we are working with. So whenever price gives me this complete structural circle in the market, what I do next is to spot out my point of interest, which is labeled C here according to this illustration. So after that, I will wait to see how price pulls back into it. And if it's pulling back and making structures, as you can see here on the chart where I labeled my trend line, if it's making this kind of substructures on a counter trend direction, I quickly will pull out my trend line, place it from the top, from the beginning of the pullback to wherever, and then extend it to that my point of interest. So I will keep monitoring it until price breaks that trend line. So when price gets to my point of interest, it is going to give a head and shoulder or AC illustrated on this diagram. Someone might be asked point of interest. Why do I still need the trend line? Now, it might interest you to know that most times when price gets to that your point of interest, it might wipe liquidity, like it might liquidate that level. It might just be a liquidation point. All right, and sometimes you might even be wrong that you selected. So the thing is that the trend line serving as a confirmation for your entry will help you filter out this kind of mistakes of marking your point of interest. It will also help you to filter out inducement. Where price wants to liquidate people, the trend line will help you to filter it out, and also it will help you to filter out smart money traps so you don't fall into it and lose your money. Now, how do I get my entry confirmations? Number one, I want to wait for price to break my trend line. Once it has gotten to my point of interest, I want to wait for it to come back and break my trend line. Secondly, I will scale down to lower time frame like the 5 minutes or 1 minute time frame. When I get there, I want to now spot out the substructures, the lower time frame substructures that it has created after it got to my higher time frame points of interest. Right? Then on that lower time frame, after I've spotted out the structures it's created, then I will mark a lower time frame point of interest, probably an order block within that lower time frame or a breaker block. We wait for price to pull back into that level. Then as soon as price gets back into such level, I will shoot my shots immediately. I will execute straightforward. Now, what about my exit plan? A strategy is not complete if it doesn't show you where to place your stop loss and where to place your take profit. So, with this strategy, what is my exit plan? Now, as you can see up there, I have SL. So, my SL1 is on top of my point of interest, my higher time frame points of interest, which is level C. Based on the distance between this higher time frame SL and my entry point. If it is too far away, I'm not going to use it. But when it is too far away, I will now use my lower time frame high. Okay, that structure that was made before that's high. The high of it is where I'll place my SL. That's exactly where I marked my SL2. That's if the first one is too far away. Okay, that is exactly how I make my entry. Now my take profit, as you can previous